Are you living as the master of your world or merely reacting to it? Dive into the profound teachings of Nicoll and Gurdjieff to uncover how cultivating your internal world can transform your experience of the external one, the external world. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, my YouTube channel, where I share my journey through recovering from complex PTSD. I've used many different modalities in my life and in my process since early childhood. Today I'm going to share a rewrite of some 80 to 100-year-old work presented originally by Maurice Nicoll, based on his work with Ouspensky and Jung, and most profoundly Gurdjieff. So let me quote a few things that I underlined when I was going through a hard time in my life from the original text, and then I'll come back and I'll share the new text. People all think the world is outside them, but the world is inside you. The world is how you take it. When you begin to select your impressions, you only respond to a few of them, and only respond to a few of them. Your internal world begins to grow, and you begin to become an individual distinct from life and its events. This is what is meant by psychotransformism. But if you're driven by life, by everything that happens in life, depressed by reading the papers, depressed or angry with everything that happens externally in the phenomenon of the world, you are a machine. You have to learn not to take the phenomenon of the world coming in from the senses, in the way you mechanically take it. You have to catch it before it gets you down, before you identify. Life will give you nothing save uneasiness and disappointment. The work coming between you and life can give you everything. The first idea of self-remembering is to bring the work and what it teaches in between life and your mechanical reactions to it. Put the work between yourself and life. Then you will take impressions quite differently. Just as we live in a pain factory, so do we have pain psychologies. That's why we have to practice psychotransformation. Those are the lines that I underlined during a hard time in my life in the past. So I want to try to leap forward and present a modern day rewrite of those lines that I just read to you, and the entire body of this transcript that Maurice Nicoll shared. Okay, let's dive into the intriguing ideas of Maurice Nicoll and George Gurdjieff, exploring the concepts of internal and external worlds. These ideas, though articulated decades ago, remain relevant as they challenge us to rethink how we perceive and interact with the world around us. Imagine waking up each day to a world that is both outside and inside you. External world is what you perceive through your senses, the sights, sounds, and events that unfold around you. This is often referred to as the phenomenal world, a realm of appearances that can captivate or overwhelm us. However, there's another world that exists within us, the internal world. This is shaped by how we interpret and react to these external phenomena. For instance, consider a seemingly trivial news story about 3 crabs escaping from an oyster bar. One crab meets a tragic end under a car. Another disappears down a drain, and a third is recaptured, biting its captor in the process. If you find yourself deeply moved or upset by this story, it might be because you're overly identified with the external world of appearances. Gurdjieff once illustrated this concept by referencing a tragic accident on Mont Blanc, where climbers lost their lives. He questioned why people expend so much emotional energy on events involving strangers. This tendency to identify with every external event can lead us to become mere functions of life, reactive machines driven by external stimuli. So what does it mean to develop our internal world? It involves what Nicoll describes as the first conscious shock. This concept encourages us to question whether our emotional responses are merely mechanical reactions to external events. Are we allowing ourselves to be controlled by these impressions, or are we cultivating an inner world that is independent of them? By consciously choosing how we respond to life's events, we begin to grow internally. This growth marks the beginning of what Nicoll and Gurdjieff called psychotransformism. It is about selecting which impressions we allow to affect us and which we discard, fostering individuality distinct from life's constant barrage of events and the programming. The work, as Nicoll refers to it, teaches us to take external impressions consciously rather than mechanically. When we do this, we stop being slaves to every event that occurs in our lives. Instead, we start separating from unpleasant impressions and begin nurturing our internal world. This conscious approach reduces the number of problems we perceive in life. When we do this, we stop being slaves to every event that occurs in our lives. Instead, we start separating from unpleasant impressions and begin nurturing our internal world. This conscious approach reduces the number of problems that we perceive in life. By not identifying with every trick life plays on us, we create a different inner reality, one that is not dictated by external circumstances. At the heart of this practice is self-remembering. It involves placing the teachings of the work between ourselves and our automatic reactions to life. By doing so, we change how we receive impressions from the phenomenal world. Instead of living in what Nicoll describes as a pain factory, practicing psychotransformation allows us to transform our pain psychologies into something more resilient and conscious. In conclusion, Nicoll and Gurdjieff's teaching encourage us to cultivate an internal world that is less reactive and more reflective. By doing so, we can navigate life with greater awareness and intentionality, ultimately leading to personal growth and transformation. I hope this exploration inspires you to reconsider how you interact with both your internal and external worlds. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.